Alright, hey, Hades Mega here, and welcome to another Hades Mega Rav4 Prime video. Alright, so I've actually owned this wonderful Rav4 Prime vehicle. Alright, it's a 2021 Rav4 Prime SE for 1 year now. Alright, so I'm gonna make a video about what I dislike and what I like. Alright, I'm gonna give you about 10 dislikes and 10 likes I like about this vehicle. Alright, that'll be kind of like my 1 year review type thing, okay? I know a bunch of people have done videos like this, but this one is mine, alright? And it's more specifically this model, this 2021 Rav4 Prime SE. Alright, and so it's going to be specifically on this model, alright? A 2021 Rav4 Prime SE, okay? You know, all the likes and dislikes that pertain to this vehicle that I've had like for 1 year. Okay, so I'm just gonna go through each like and dislike, you know, up close, and then that'll be the end of the video. I'll probably have a separate video for the dislikes and a separate video for the likes. All right, let's make up. Okay, so the number one dislike Hades Mega doesn't like about his Rav4 Prime SE is the slow charging. All right, so we got my Rav4 Prime charging here right now. The Rav4 Prime SE, any Rav4 Prime SE, only charges around 3.3 kilowatts, all right, or 3.3 kilowatt hours, all right. So that means it'll take roughly 6 hours to fully charge the battery when fully depleted, all right, because 6 times 3 is 18, and 18 kilowatt hours is how much energy the battery pack holds, okay. So 6 hours, all right, six hours at 3 kilowatts, all right. That's a level 2 charging speeds, all right. And level 1 charging, well, level 1 it doesn't really matter, okay. But level 1 is like 10 hours, all right. So yeah, the slow charging, the Rav4 Prime XSE with the premium package, all right, not just a regular XSE. It has to be a premium. The premium XSE model comes with a 6.6 kilowatt hour onboard charger, all right. So, and that is capable of charging the Rav4 Prime in 3 hours, all right. You can get like a significant amount of charge back in like 1 hour already, all right. So it literally charges twice as fast as the SE, okay, or an XSE without the premium package. In my opinion, Toyota should have just equipped all of the Rav4 Primes with this charger, all right. And then so that also leads me to DC fast charging. Why can't we have DC fast charging on the Rav4 Prime, you know? So maybe we want to charge it real quick, you know, when we're on the road. It would be nice to be able to DC fast charge this. I do know plug-in hybrid electric vehicle SUV that does have DC fast charging, all right, and that is the Mitsubishi Outlander, all right, plug-in hybrid electric vehicle. And that one has fast charging, so why can't we have it on the Rav4 Prime? All right. I know it would be like an extra connector, but yeah, it would be nice to have it like a CC. Actually, you could only have one connector. It would be easy. All you would have to do is add the DC charge ports underneath the J1772 right here. That's what's nice about that standard. All right. Okay. Yeah. So anyway, whenever Hades Omega wants to charge on the road or like at a public charger, you know, a lot of level 2 charging stations or public charging stations are capable of up to 7 kilowatt hours of charging, all right, and we can only take advantage of half of that, all right, with the Rav4 Prime SE, unfortunately. It would have been nice if Toyota had it as like an upgrade option with the Rav4 Prime, you know, SE, but they don't. You have to pay all the big bucks to get that charger, and I think they should have just gone with the 6 kilowatt charger in the first place. Okay, so that's the first one. The charging is slow on the Rav4 Prime SE. All right, so my next dislike is lack of charge indicators. All right, and this is kind of like a 2-in-1 thing. All right, there's not that many ways to tell that your Rav4 Prime is charging, all right? Here's the number one way. Obviously, yeah, you can tell that the plug is in there and the light is green, all right? That's the only way, that's the only external way that you know that the Rav4 Prime is charging, all right? There's no funky lights or anything. There's no indicators on the dash. Nothing. All right. The Rav4 now the Prius Prime has something like. Oh, look at this! I'm so jealous. The Prius Prime. All right. So here's a Prius Prime right next to a Rav4 Prime. All right. The Prius Prime has a little charging indicator on it. All right. It does right there. See, it's got about less than half a charge. I can tell. Whereas the Rav4, you can't tell anything. All right, there's no way to tell how much charge is in the battery other than to open it. Okay, this is my little rant about the Rav4 Prime. All right, that's the only indicator that you get that it's charging is a green light. All right, and it is, and you can't even tell how much charge it has. I don't understand why they couldn't do something like that. There's on the Prius Prime, I think on the dash. All right, the dash. All right, they've got an indicator light with like a, you know, it flashes what the state of charge is while it's charging. All right, this doesn't even do that. All right, guys, it's just a green light that tells you if it's charging or not charging. All right, if it's not charging, it's off. Also, if you got it set to schedule charge, it will blink a couple times and disappear. What else does it do? It like and then like if the charger, the EVSE is not working, it will turn green and then it'll just turn off. All right, and then that's how you know it's not working. That's like the only way externally that you know it's charging. All right, okay, now that leads me to how could you tell it's charging when you're inside the vehicle, and how could you tell your state of charge? All right, so this is kind of like I said, the 2-for-1 deal. You gotta open the freaking door. All right, you open the door and it tells you it's gonna take 6 hours and 30 minutes to charge, and then it disappears right away like that. Okay, and then it has a gauge that tells you your relative, you know, how much your charge, how much charge is in the battery right now. So right now I've got about half. Okay, and then it disappears again. Okay, and there's no indicators inside the car to tell you how. Okay, now if the only other way to tell how much charge you have is to turn the vehicle on. All right, you got to look at the charge indicator right here. All right, how much your state of charge is, and then you have to kind of guess. All right, you got to decipher this gauge, how much charge you got. Remember, I have half a charge, right, according to this. Well, okay, so it says you got half a charge here, right? And like Toyota does this thing with like, they like to use pictures and like, you know, arrows and stuff. And why can't they just freaking tell you how much percent the battery has? That's something so simple that you could do. My cell phone does it. Toyota, all right, my cell phone tells me like, oh, I got 50% charge. No, they can't do a simple thing like that, right? They have to give you a graph, all right? So that's about 50%, all right? About, you know, I don't know a precise number, all right? That's about 50%. There's a triangle, all right? There's a battery icon with the triangle right there, all right? That triangle, all right, or a little pointer tells you where the halfway point is, all right? They don't even have any like, they don't really have any hash marks. That's the only mark that you have to go off. How much charge you have, all right? That's 100%. This right here is 0%, all right? That's when your EV mode will kick into HV mode, all right? Hybrid mode. But yeah, that's the only indicator halfway. So you got 0, half, and 100%. They couldn't put like a quarter, 3/4 to make it a little more accurate, or just put a numerical display, you know, what the freaking charge is. All right, sometimes I want to know exactly how much charge. I don't want to have to do any kind of like, you know, deciphering of the gauges and stuff. All right. It's something so simple, but Toyota can't do it. All right. Yeah, so those are the only ways that you can tell how much charge is in your Rav4 and if it's charging. All right, from inside the vehicle. In my opinion, what I would want is, yeah, at least have something to tell you how much charge you have outside the vehicle, for one thing, and how much you have inside the vehicle with like a numerical display to tell you how much it is. Okay, but they can't even get that right. It's like it was an afterthought to tell you how much charge is in the battery, and that's one of the things you'd be doing in this vehicle, charging it all the time. Okay, it's important to know how much charge you have, and that will also lead into the Toyota app, which I will talk about later. All right, that's another on the dislike list. No way to adjust off throttle regen. All right, so there's another dislike that I don't like about this, is you can't adjust, you can't customize the amount of regen you want. You know, it's one of those things that like a lot of modern EVs have. You know, my electric, I've ridden a electric motorcycle where you could directly adjust the amount of regen, right, when you lift off the throttle, and this doesn't do it. The only way you could really adjust regen is to put it in sport mode. All right, so if you put it in sport mode, you'll get extra off throttle regen. All right, that way you know you're not using the mechanical brakes to stop. Okay, but you're just gonna have to do it like the Prius. You know, you got to step on the brakes and just don't step on it really hard if you don't want to activate the mechanical brakes. All right, really the way you got to do it is you got to look at this gauge, step on the brakes, and then watch it go down. And if you go down all the way, that's when and you keep on pressing it, it will engage the mechanical brakes. All right, but I would rather have it where you just let off the throttle, and then it'll start regenning more. All right, and the only way you can do that is to put it in sport mode. All right, like I have it in right now. Okay, some people say that if you put it in drive, all right, you put it in drive and then you use the shifter, all right, the shift points, that you can increase the regen. That's kind of true, but it's also not true. All right, it will increase the regen. The way it does it is it's not doing it through the motor, it's doing it through the gear ratio. All right, so what it's doing is trying to make the motor, all right, the motor that captures the energy, one of the motor generator units, it runs the transmission at a lower gear ratio, or a tighter gear ratio. It spins faster. So if you spin fast, if the engine spins faster, or the transmission spins faster, you get greater regen. All right, I know that because I had an electric motorcycle that had a gearbox, right, a 6-speed gearbox, and that's what it would do. When you change to a lower gear, you would get more regen because it acts as that engine braking. Okay, so that's basically all this shifter thing does is it adjusts the gear ratio. Right, it is a shifter, right, and that's how it will make the vehicle stop slower, because yeah, you're trying to spin the motor up more. Okay, it's like downshifting. Antiquated multifunction display. All right, guys, so I used to have a 2006 Toyota Prius, and my mom has a 2010 Toyota Prius. All right, and this multifunction display isn't really much of a breakthrough compared to what's on those cars. All right, and like I said, it's 2022 right now, and it hasn't changed all that much. All right, if you look at other cars, their multifunction displays are much more modern looking. All right, it's kind of sluggish, you see, kind of going between the screens and stuff. I mean, it's okay, you know, the graphics are okay, but you can't you get the feeling that, yeah, you know, this was like yesteryear's technology is what I say. Okay, they could have made it look prettier, they could have made it look better. All right, but yeah, that's the way this guy works. Okay, and yeah, you could do a bunch of stuff with it, but it's kind of slow. I don't like the audio system, and that's kind of like the next one, right? But yeah, I don't like the multifunction display on this. All right, and but it is simple to use. Like, there's a map button that like does nothing, guys. There's a map button there that does nothing. All right, I guess if you have it hooked up to your phone using Android Auto, it does something, but that's the only time that works. Okay, that's what I'm gonna say. But it still has dials and stuff, which is nice. Okay, but there it is. Okay, yeah, I feel that this system is kind of antiquated. Maybe the XSE with the more fancy audio system might have a better display, is what I'm thinking. Okay. Oh, right. Lack of onboard maps or navigation. Okay, so the Rav4 Prime SE has no onboard navigation. All right, the only way you can use navigation on the multifunction display is if you hook up your phone. Okay, as like an Android Auto device or something, and then you can use a map. All right, even then, and I'll talk about this later about like how to hook up your phone to it. All right, but yeah, there's no maps. All right, if I hit the map button, it says there's no navigation app installed. However, there is really no navigation app for this. All right, And you can't get a GPS system like you can on the XSE models. If you have the XSE with the premium audio, you can get onboard navigation, but the Rav4 Prime SE doesn't have that function. I know a lot of people probably don't use it nowadays, but I use it. I do deliveries with my Rav4, and it's nice to be able to tell where you are using onboard navigation, right? And it doesn't have it, right? It's non-existent. You cannot get it for a Rav4 Prime SE. Audio system. All right, so the next dislike is the audio system. I'm not a big fan of this audio system. So to use the USB function, you have to use this USB port down here, okay? And it's kind of slow. It reads the USB device kind of slow. I think it depends on what USB drive that you have attached there, but yeah, it reads it kind of slow, and it's just really finicky. But there is Bluetooth, okay? And then so another thing about the audio is the quality, all right? The audio quality is not that good. The audio system in the Rav4 Prime SE is kind of meh, okay? But you can upgrade the speakers, all right? And that's what I have done with mine, and it sounds way, way better. Hades Mega still would like to have a subwoofer. I want a little more bass, but other than that, if you upgrade the speakers, it's okay, okay? But yeah, the head unit itself is actually not that good either. So yeah, the audio system, not that good. Also, another thing is there's no aux port, all right? There's no way to hook up a audio cable to your phone, all right? My 2006 Toyota Prius had one, all right? And why can't this one have one, all right? And I do know that some models of the Rav4 still have aux ports, all right? So maybe the XSE model has a aux port. Mine does not, all right? The SE model does not have it. All right, I think normally it's like right here next to the USB or something, but it's not. No apps, all right? Apps. Applications, all right? So there's one of the things I don't like about the Rav4 Prime is that there's not really any useful applications, all right? You could get Toyota Alexa. I think that's it. That's the only one that you can get. But if you go here to apps, there's only Toyota Alexa and whatever the version info is. There's really no useful apps for it. And as you can see, it's spending a lot of time thinking right now. It's so slow. There's really no apps, all right? I think there's a way that you can look for like gas stations and stuff, but yeah, I could use my phone for that. But it would be nice to be able to use the dash, the function, my MultiFunction display for it. But yeah, there is just a lack of apps. I'm not even driving right now, and it said like don't operate it while you're driving. All right, so really these are the only apps that you could use, at least on my Rav4 Prime SE. It'll look for fuel. Okay, that kind of tells you where the different fuel places are. All right, that's not very helpful. How about charging stations? Can you tell me where charging stations are? They obviously don't want you to be charging at public charging stations, all right? There's notifications. There's no notifications. And there's a Wi-Fi function, okay? That I don't use because I have a cell phone. I don't need that. Okay. Also, to really use apps, if you want to use more apps, you could use Android Auto, all right? But let me show you the Toyota app. Okay, here's the Toyota app, and I'm logging in right now. And while you're driving, it doesn't really do anything. Okay. That's it. It doesn't really do anything. Okay, and then I think you gotta turn it off to actually use that app. the Toyota app for your phone. All right, it disappears. All right. Okay, and I also have, let me see. I had the Safety Connect. All right, I did a video about this. All right, that's what this guy is, the SOS button. All right, when you press that, somebody will answer. Does that even, oh, it's red now. Yeah, it used to, okay, it's still green. I guess maybe it still kind of works. I'm not sure. But, But yeah, I have the Safety Connect app, and I have the Safety Connect service, and it really does nothing, all right? There's nothing special you can do with it. The only thing special about it, I guess they took it off because my subscription expired, maybe. Oh, damn it, it went away again. But over here, it will tell you your how much gas you got in your gas tank. That's it. All right, it won't tell. They can't even tell you how much state of charge. All right, so that goes back to I can't tell how much charge is in my battery for this light right there. Okay, so in the app now, in the XSE version, okay, they do tell you, all right, but not the SE version. So because this is the SE is the peasant version, all right, that's what I call it. Okay, so they won't even tell you how much charge is in your battery. How sad is that? That would be something more useful to have than the gas gauge is what I'm gonna say. Okay, and the Android Auto. So I have a USB cable connected to that USB port in the center there, and then I have to, they don't have Android Auto over wireless, all right? You've got to plug it in for it to work. All right, and now it works. And see, now it says Android Auto connected. That's the only way you can, well, no, okay, I heard there's like a dongle that you can buy so that you could plug into the USB port and run it wirelessly, okay? That you can buy an accessory that will allow you to do that, but why not? This vehicle has Bluetooth functionality, why not? Why not, right? And you could do a couple things with it. I hear you can do Android Auto. And by the way, I heard they're doing away with Android Auto, so I don't know how much longer this is going to work. But there you go. The maps works. Even the graphics on the screen are not that good, guys. But yeah, you could do some other stuff. There's a couple stuff you could do with the app. So I'm gonna go back to here. Hey, doesn't really use it. You can use audio players and stuff. There you go. Can do some stuff. You can look at what charge point stuff there is. Okay, so there are apps, guys, but you got to use Android Auto to use the apps. All right, you basically you're using your phone to use the apps. There is no apps that are on the vehicle itself. All right, so you have to have your phone hooked up to the port. All right, to the port to use Android Auto. You can't just use it wirelessly. All right. And that's a big hassle for me to plug it, because I get in and out of the car all the time. So I guess on long trips it's okay, I don't mind, but like for short trips I don't like it, all right? Because I'm constantly connecting and unconnecting my phone, okay? There's a Toyota app, look at that. Oh, I don't know, it just takes you back to the Toyota system. So yeah, that goes back to, yeah, I don't really like this infotainment system, man. It's not very good. Okay, default drive modes. Okay, so this one's kind of annoying too. Sometimes I like to drive in sport mode, like all the time, because it has, like I mentioned, it has the bore regen. I like not having to step on the brakes, guys. I like being able to slow down the vehicle by just letting off the gas pedal, all right? And that's why I like to keep it in sport mode, all right? So if you keep it in sport mode, okay, it's in sport mode right now, and I turn it off, it will default back to freaking the normal mode. All right, here, I'm gonna turn it off. And I'm gonna turn it back on. And bam, there it is. Well, apparently I'm low on fuel too. It's back in the normal mode, all right? When you push it down, this button down, it puts it in the normal mode, all right? Now, however, if you put it in eco mode, and you turn it off, and you turn it back on, it will go back to eco mode, all right? And the same thing for the normal mode, all right? If I put it in normal mode, and I turn it off, oops, and I turn it off, and I turn it back on, it will go default back to the normal mode, all right? So why can't it just stay in the mode that you were in when you turned it off? Is there something wrong with wanting to drive in sport mode all the time? I don't understand, you know? Why not? Okay, so that's one thing that peeves me off, all right? Yeah, I don't know if the Rav4 Primes do that, but the SE, that's what it does. It's kind of annoying. Also, it will always default back to EV mode, all right? I wish there was a way that you could customize it so whenever it starts up in a certain mode, all right? Like, so right now it's in EV mode, right? If I hit the auto EV HV button, all right, it puts it in auto EV HV. So that's when it runs in EV mode until you really need that power and you stomp on that throttle. It turns on the gasoline engine as well to get that extra power. All right. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes when you're trying to beat those yellow lights, you wish you had a little more power than the power you're getting in EV mode. All right. Yeah. So whenever you start it, it defaults to EV mode. All right. So it would be nice if it just kind of stayed in the mode that you were in last time. If there is a way to set it that way, or set it so it starts up in a specific mode, but it always starts up in EV mode. So if I put it in high. Let's see. Now let's put it. It's an auto EV HV, right? I'm going to turn it off, turn it back on, and it'll start up in EV mode again. See? So it just says EV mode. It doesn't say auto EV HV. All right. Same thing if I put it in hybrid mode. Okay, it's going to fire up the engine maybe. All right, it's in hybrid mode. It says HV mode right there. Okay, I'm gonna turn it off, turn it back on, and it will default back to EV mode. All right, which is not a big deal, but you know, like I said, it would be nice to have a way to customize that so you could start it like in the last mode that you were in. What's so hard about that? Okay. Lane keep assist works half the time. Okay, maybe it works a little more than that, all right? But okay, so lane keep assist, and what I call it is Toyota autopilot. Okay, pretty much, all right? You know how there's like Tesla autopilot? Well, that's Toyota autopilot, all right? If you got the lane keep assist on and you use the radar cruise control, all right? And you're cruising along, it will keep the vehicle centered in the lane. So if you let go of the steering wheel, it will try to keep the car in the center of the lane. All right. Well, so half the time, so it seems like if I want to let go of the steering wheel and let it drive itself, it sometimes it will and sometimes it won't. All right, so you have to kind of like feel it. All right, you got to feel like is it following it, is it tracing it? I'm like, okay, yeah, it's fine. All right, every once in a while it'll tell you, hey, you got to wiggle the steering wheel or something, because they don't want you to drive without your hands on the steering wheel. But yeah, you know, sometimes I like to take my hands off on the wheel, especially when I'm tired. You know, you're going on a long drive. It would be nice to like be it would be more reliable, or it'd be nice if to have a autopilot that's more reliable. So I say, all right, kind of like the Tesla, man. But I'm not gonna lie, the Teslas are kind of like that too. I wouldn't trust any of those autopilot systems. Like, you still have to drive the car, guys, but it would be nice like to know that, like, yeah, it's gonna keep you in the lane. And it just seems like half of the time it's kind of doing that, and half of the time it is. Or it's half the time it isn't, half the time it is. So okay, huge charge door. Okay, look at this, guys. That is ginormous. Does it really need to be that big? All right. The charge port is only that big, so maybe you would only need something like maybe that big. You know, it could be smaller than that, but look at how much of a footprint that takes up. It's huge. It sticks out a whole lot. And like, if you're parking in a parking spot and you're charging, people come up and they brush up on this, and they hit it and they move it, like, you know, somebody could break it off or something. It's just like, it's too big. Why couldn't they make it smaller, like the gasoline one? Look at the gasoline one. It's much smaller. All right. Okay, look at how much smaller that is. All right, let's see. Okay, it's like a little bit longer than where the joint of my hand is right now. All right, look at how big this is. It's like almost twice as big. It is. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, it's almost twice as, it sticks out twice as much. Does it really need to be that big? Okay, it kind of bugs me that it's that big. It could be half that size, or it could be the same size as the one for putting gas in the car. All right, I don't open this one very often. Okay. nanny. Okay, so like the Rav4 Prime is kind of like a nanny. It kind of nags you and it warns you all the time. Sometimes it's really annoying. Okay, guys. So if I turn it on, I guarantee it. I'll tell you right now, it's gonna tell me I'm low on fuel. All right. Okay. It's so annoying, and it won't go away until you tell it to go away. All right. And then so also if you turn the traction control off. All right, it tells you the traction control is turned off. All right, and it will constantly tell you the traction control is off. All right. There's no way to really. Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, see that? So it's turned off. I hit the button to let it go disappear, and then it'll go back on. See, and that's just really annoying because I need to use this to see other stuff. I need to see my range and my trip statistics, all this other stuff. You know, I want to be able to see stuff there, all right? And if it keeps on popping that warning up that, hey, your traction control is not on, that's really annoying, okay? and in my opinion, the Rav4 Prime, Hades and Mega drove cars when they didn't have traction control. You know, I get it, it's a safety thing, but you don't really need it all that much, and you don't really need it if you're driving an all-wheel drive car, man. All right, you don't really need it. All right, and there you go. If you turn it off, it won't complain anymore. Also, it will complain about maintenance. All right, it's not. I think I am getting the maintenance reminder right now, but it hasn't done it yet. The closer you get to your maintenance interval, it will keep on popping up every time you start it. It's really annoying. And yeah, the closer you get, the more and more it pops up too. So what other nanny things does it do? I think the only other nanny thing it does is if the charge port is open, it'll tell you. Right, if you happen to take off with the charge port open, then it'll tell you that it is. Inaccurate gasoline gauge. All right, so this guy up here is the gasoline gauge, right? There's your electric gauge, and that's your gasoline gauge, right? So right now it's saying we got 22 miles. I call bullshit. All right. Well, I know when this gets to 0, you probably could still go like 100 more miles. All right. So when this gets to 0 and I fill it up, all right, it only pumps like 10 gallons or something. All right, not a lot of fuel. All right, and this happens all the time. And from what I've heard on the internet, that this is a common thing. All right, with the Rav4 Prime. When it says you're low on gas, you still have plenty of gas. You still have like maybe like 4 or 5 gallons in there or something. All right, and that's just not accurate to me, man. Like right now, it's nearly at the E, all right? That should tell you maybe you've got like 2 gallons left, but you still can go a lot. Trust me, you could still go a long distance, all right, with what's in the tank right now. And then I did an experiment where I put like just a little bit of gas, like half a gallon of gas, and then I got like 100 more miles of range, all right, for hybrid mode. So that just goes to show that the gasoline gauge is inaccurate on the Rav4, all right? So it always tells you you're low on gas when you're not really that low on gas, all right? I wish it was less conservative. That's what I say, okay? I wish it was less conservative with the gasoline, all right? That's not to say that's a really big problem, all right? As long as you got gas in there, as long as you're putting gas in there, it's all right, man. But and it's also really annoying that when you start it, like I mentioned, the nanny stuff, it will tell you you're low on fuel every time you start up, and then this gas gauge, this gas warning light is always on, and it's just really annoying looking at it, man. Okay. All right, Hayes Big here, and I'm adding this clip to the inaccurate fuel gauge, low fuel gauge part of the video, right, for in the dislikes. So I just filled, I added 1.5 gallons, guys. All right, I just said, like, just because remember I had the low fuel light was on, right? So I didn't want to see that light all the time, so I just put 1.5 gallons, and then so because of that 1.5 gallons, if you remember correctly, the needle here, all right, let me zoom in, the needle was near E already, all right, pretty much you need to get gas type of thing, all right. And then I put 1.5 gallon, and it went from here to here. All right, it says we got like a quarter, more than a quarter tank now. As like for a gallon and a half, that's not a lot of gas, man. And then my hybrid range, it went up to 130. I remember it was 22 yesterday, and it went up to 130. All I could say is that's like 100 miles per gallon or something. That's really efficient, but I don't believe it. All right. Yeah. So that just shows you how inaccurate the gas gauge is. All right, but the goal is to not use gas, right? So whatever. All right, anyway, yeah, so that kind of just proves the point that the gas gauge is super inaccurate on the Rav4 Prime. USB. Okay, so there's plenty of USB ports in here, guys. There's one right there. There's two right here. There's two in the back here somewhere. Right here. All right, yeah, there's plenty of USB ports. However, none of them are quick charge USB ports. All right, so that just tells me, man, this the Rav4 Prime is kind of stuck in the past. Why can't we have a quick charge USB port for phones, like so we could charge our phones quickly? All right, well, Hades Omega has added a quick charge USB port or USB charger right here. Okay, so Toyota couldn't do it, but the aftermarket can. So let's say, all right. And if I plug my phone into this, it will quick charge my phone. No other USB port does that in this car. All right. Also, there's only one data port. This is the only data port right here. So, if you're going to use Android Auto, you have to use that USB port. If you want to play music off a USB thumb drive or something, you have to use that port. Okay, you can't use any other one. You can't have one for Android Auto and then have one for a USB stick. No, you can't do that. All right. Toyota says no. All right. So that's and so that's why I have extra USB ports. I have this one hooked up to the 12 volts right here. That's a quick charge, and then I have this add-on one. All right. Also, there's no Type C USB ports. All right. So a lot of the modern cars have Type C USB ports, all right, and it just has a regular USB-A port, all right, which is, it's not that much of a big deal, but it would have been nice if they included like one or two of them, all right. It's just like, yeah, Toyota's kind of not, it's kind of behind the technology curve is what I'm saying, okay. Handling. All right, so one of the things about the Rav4 Prime is it's an SUV. It's kind of tall and it's kind of big. It's got, I like this is what I like to say, it's got sports car like power, but it doesn't have sports car like handling. Okay, it handles like a boat, all right, like, yeah, I mean, and that's to be expected. It's a freaking SUV, you know, and you can actually take this thing off-road, so that's the good thing about it. But yeah, you just realize you're driving something very big, and you shouldn't be taking the corners too fast in it. Right? It's not a sports car. Okay, and so those are the things I dislike about my 2021 Rav4 Prime SE. Okay, so I've had it for a year, and it seems like it's a lot of stuff that I don't like, but I really do love this vehicle. But yeah, there is some things that I don't like about it, and the main one is the charging. Okay, I think Toyota could have done a better job with the charging. It just kind of feels like they didn't put much thought into the EV thing, all right? Like it's more like a hybrid or a gas car than it is an EV, you know. And for Hades Omega, I'm the opposite. I would rather have it more of an EV than a hybrid, okay? Yeah, okay, so go ahead and check out my other video on the things that I do like about the Rav4 Prime SE, because there's a lot of them also, okay? It's a great vehicle, and I'm glad I bought this vehicle. So far, I don't think there was anything better, unless I could have afforded the XSC model with the premium package, but it's just so much more money, all right? I couldn't afford it, so I had to settle for the SE, which I call the peasant model. All right, this is the Rav4 Prime peasant model. All right, here we go.